So first, I should say that I did not coin the term baby pad.
You didn't?
No, that was, I believe, Serenity Caldwell from iMore
Well,
came up with the term baby pad.
That's a good term.
And then a viewer called this the Jai Pad. That was the name, the Jai Pad.
Jai Pad.
So, Myke, you and I have both used both of these. Mm-hmm. This one just came out this week. This one is last fall, I guess. Seems like forever ago. But what are your initial thoughts having used both?
So when iOS 9 came out in September, I started to get more interested in the iPad again. The split screen multitasking made it something that made sense to me as a product to use again. And then when the 12.9-inch iPad Pro came out, I thought it was kind of ridiculous, but I wanted to give it a go. And I immediately fell in love with it, right? So I got it when it came out last year. Having all of that space for like side-by-side apps was fantastic. And then when the 9.7-inch iPad Pro came out, I was like, I don't want that. I don't need that. And then I started thinking about it more, and I started talking to some of my friends who had them and people that I knew that had them for review. And I started to think a little bit more about my working life. So I have moved the majority of my work to iOS now. I use my iPad Pro for that. And basically the only thing that I use a Mac for now is recording and editing my shows. So I wanted to think, what could the smaller iPad Pro get me? Like, what would the use be for that? And I started thinking about how for many years now, I have had a desktop computer and a laptop. And I use them for different things. I maybe use them for being portable. I use them for different tasks. They're powered in different ways. And I started to wonder, why would I not do this for iOS as well? So I have this 13-inch iPad, which is portable, but not fantastically portable. I only have the Wi-Fi version. And I started to think, like, could I maybe start to use two different iPads in the same way that I've used two different Macs? So I picked one of the 9.7-inch iPad Pros up a couple of days ago. I got the LTE version this time. And I've only had it for a few days, but I really like it. But I really like it for different reasons. So my iPad Pro, the 12.9-inch, I use that now to get my work done. I use it to prepare for shows. I use it to send out invoices. I use it for email and Slack and everything. I do everything on that thing. And what I've found, though, is that the 9.7-inch iPad, I can still do a lot of that stuff on it, but it's not as comfortable because in split screen, there isn't the same amount of space. But it's far superior for reading and checking Twitter and doing things like that than my larger iPad is. So now I'm kind of in this weird position where I have two iPads. They're both good at the work that each other does, but they're each better at different things. And I feel like a terrible person because I have two iPads now. But I know that I would expect it's the same as this happens with our audiences, and I'm sure that a lot of your audience is thinking the same. The people that think I'm crazy for using iOS in the way that I do, because lots of people find it slower, or lots of people find things that are not possible to do on iOS. But for me now, I enjoy using iOS more. Even though I know that there are some things that I could probably do quicker on a Mac, or I could automate a Mac to do, I find using iOS and the apps on iOS just a more enjoyable experience. So I guess probably now I'm a two iPad guy, for as terrible as that is.
Well, I have a family of 5, and we realized just recently that we have 6 iPads for our 5.
Wow.
For the 5 of us. So you shouldn't feel that bad. I agree with you. I think it's personal, and it's what you do for your work.
Sure.
Because we here use Google Sheets and Google Docs, and Google Sheets is it's garbage on iOS. Like, it really is. Like, I can't. I guess you don't have to use it for we made you use it for today, so sorry.
No, we actually still do use it, and I begrudgingly use it. For a lot of our show preparation, the collaboration stuff, we use Docs. But recently we started using a service called Quip because it features split screen multitasking on the iPad, and we're starting to look more at that because unfortunately Google seems to have shown their hand that they're not interested now in maybe staying up with the latest and greatest at the speed that they used to on iOS. Because at this point, I don't really know why Google Docs and Sheets doesn't have split screen multitasking. At this point, it feels like just a decision at Google.
It's so weird that Google wouldn't make that a priority. I mean, just based on the sheer fact that so many people are mobile now, and Google more than anything wants people using its products so that they can, target ads or whatever the case may be. I'm sure a lot of people. I mean, it's fine. I use Sheets. I mean, I'm on a Chrome OS, the Chromebook Pixel right now, so it's different from Android. But on Android, it's not my preference to use Sheets or Google Docs on Android. I do because it's there and it's okay. But I couldn't use Sheets in the same way that I do on a desktop in Android 100% of the time. So it's not even perfect there. It's just kind of surprising that that type of a ball would be dropped, because I'm sure there are a lot of iPad users like you, like both of you, iOS device users, that would use that software suite if it was better or updated or whatever.
If I weren't using those tools for collaboration and I was just purely needing a word processor and a spreadsheet, I would be using Excel and Word, because Microsoft had done an incredible job with staying up to date with the new stuff in iOS, and they are ready on day one to support all the iPad Pro stuff. The Pencil is all greatly supported in those. If I was just keeping my spreadsheets, I would be using Excel now on the iPad.
Mm-hmm.
So do you use a keyboard with both?
Yeah, for me now. So this is part of the other part of, for me, why I'm interested in the smaller iPad Pro. For me now, an iPad is a keyboard, the iPad, and the Pencil. It's all three of them is what makes an iPad. Yeah, and I know it makes getting into an iPad a $1,000 experience. But for me, that combination of those things, the keyboard, which is always attached, and the Pencil, which is just fantastic, and I use it for navigation on the iPad. I have been a Wacom user for a while, and I like to use the Apple Pencil just to click around the UI on iOS. It's better for RSI with me and all of that stuff. So for me, the whole package now is what it's all about.
And have you figured out a way to keep your pencil, where to keep your pencil?
I bought a pen loop. So again, I'm the pen guy, right? I have weird solutions. Yes. So you can buy pen loops to stick onto notebooks. So I have a pen loop, which has been stuck to the back of my iPad, and the Pencil just slides in the top, and it's held in by elastic.
So what does it stick on? What's the adhesive?
It's just a little, the pen loop is attached to an adhesive pad, which I stick onto the back of the iPad.
Oh.
You don't just keep the pencil stuck into the port when you're not using it all the time, just protruding out of the port.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just walk around with it.
Not begging for trouble, not asking for trouble at all.
Like this?
Yeah, see, super portable.
It's beautiful.
I don't know. What do you think? So, Megan, you've had this now for a couple of days. And you've used the larger, what did you call it?
The JiPad.
The JiPad extensively prior. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I never felt like the JiPad was too big. I really...
The word just keeps getting weirder every time it's said. Anyways.
I'm just wondering if there's some double entendre that I don't know.
I don't know.
I never felt that it's too big. It's great for watching movies. The speaker is great. I carry a giant purse, so it fits in my purse. Right. But I also have this special laptop bag that has a special space for an iPad, and it didn't fit in that, but this one does. So I don't know. I mean, I like them both, and I think I'm going to probably have to give one of them back to Leo at some point. So I'm just using them both as much as I can until then.
Soak it up. Soak it up while you can. And to kind of answer what you were talking about as far as like $1,000, per instance based on all the kit and everything like that. I mean, if you're truly replacing say a desktop computer or a laptop, that's actually a bargain. So, if that whole setup works for you, and again, like we've said, it's going to be person to person. Everybody has different needs and all that kind of stuff. But if it works for you, that's actually, you're kind of saving money if that's the best solution for you.
If I was a writer and not a podcaster, I wouldn't use a Mac anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So
I understand that.
You don't podcast on your iPad? You can't?
No, just right now, the tools and the setups are just not exactly where I'd like them to be. I do believe that within the next couple of years, it will be possible to do, and I will maybe start looking at doing it more then. But right now, I know people that we have a show which is actually about iOS on Relay FM, and one of the hosts, he records on iOS and edits on iOS. He's the only person that I know that does it. It's a show called Canvas, and Fraser does that. And I think that he's a trailblazer, and right. kind of, I don't envy him in that scenario because he uses multiple iOS devices to just record. I think Apple's going to make some headway into trying to make this better in the future. iOS just needs some more audio work and some more audio APIs, I think, to really help just drive that point home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jason Snell sat in for me earlier on iOS Today on Monday, and he had some, I think, apps that he recommended too that he uses.
Yeah, Ferrite is one of them that Jason would have definitely recommended. He's edited episodes of The Incomparable with 8 people, and 8 tracks, and it's possible to do. It definitely is.
Wow. I don't know if that sounds fun or not, but it's possible.
Yeah, so right now I'll still keep all 3 and then try to until I'm forced into using just one.
Yes.